Hi there, this is Lori Cianello with Helpful Home Buying and Selling. And this is my first video on YouTube. So I'm so excited to have Debbie Schroeder with me from Strategic National Title Group. Debbie and I have known each other for a very, very long time, and I'm so excited to be working with her in the real estate industry. I'm a bit of a newbie to this industry, only been here for a little over a year, not a newbie to the financial industry in general, just to real estate. Debbie, on the other hand, has been doing this a lot longer than I have, and she is my go-to for so much. Debbie, please say hi.
Hello, Debbie with Strategic National Title. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Lori. I've been in the industry for 37 years, believe it or not, before we were even using computers. So I'm definitely aging myself.
Well, I appreciate you joining me. So Debbie is on our video today to help debunk some of the fees and so forth that, you're all excited, you buy a new house, you get to the closing table, you see your closing sheet and you're like, oh my gosh, what are all these fees about? And that's why I have brought Debbie on here, because not only does she know her stuff inside and out, but she's so good at explaining it to people who aren't doing this every day. So Debbie, what do you think are the fees that people are most surprised by?
I would say there's two fees. One is the escrows. When you're purchasing a property, you've got to put money in for an initial escrow deposit. The lender will collect anywhere from 2 to 6 months for taxes and insurance. You put that in as an initial deposit, but then you will be reimbursing the seller from the date of closing till the end of the tax period. In Maryland, it would be December and the end of June, or for the homeowners insurance, a year from the date of closing. You wouldn't be reimbursing the seller for the homeowners insurance, but for the escrows, you'd have to pay for a year up front, plus putting in 2 months of for the next year's payment. So it's going to be a total of like 14 months. It's a little confusing. You've got to put in the initial deposit, because if you settle, it's September right now, mid-September. If you settled in mid-September, your first payment wouldn't be due until November 1st. So your lender is going to collect 1 year up front, you're going to have to pay, and they're going to ask us to collect it at closing to your insurance company. And then they're going to put 2 months into escrow for next year's bill. They will take 1/12 of each monthly mortgage payment beginning in November. So if they start in November, by time that next September rolls around, they'll be 2 months short. So that's what the 2 months is for. Or they might collect 3 months. They're allowed to hold a little bit of a cushion for potential increases. My philosophy on that is they make the interest on the money. Not, I don't even know if any lenders pay dividends anymore. I had one years ago that did on the escrow accounts, but the government did cap them out, and that is what the aggregate is about. If the lender's overholding what's allowable by law, the lender will credit it back to you in the escrow section. The taxes, like right now, if you settled in September, taxes are due July 1st in Maryland, and you have until September 30th for the first half. It is run on a fiscal year basis, not a calendar year basis. The first half is due July 1st. And again, you have until September 30th to pay the first half. If you're doing a purchase, they have to be paid in order to transfer a deed. The second half is due in December, and you only have until December 31st to pay it. They don't give you that 3-month lag. A little odd, but I don't make up the rules. And if it's investment property, you are going to have to pay annually. Or the one thing that we do see sometimes, if your seller has it listed with the State Department as investment property, and the first if you're past September 30th or you're in September, if the seller has paid the taxes or the seller's lender has paid the taxes, they would be required to pay them annually. So if you do have a seller where it's investment property, when doing an estimate, you need to be aware that you can change it to semi-annual, but once it's made, the payment's made, they will not refund it. It will have to pay annually for this first year, and you will have to reimburse the seller through June 30th of next year. But then next year, it can go on to a semi-annual installment if you're owner occupying the property. It is a little confusing if anybody has any issues, feel free to reach out to Lori. Lori knows how to get in touch with me. I'd be more than happy to assist you or explain it to you. It is confusing. That's the main
So
thing
that was what the tax insurance you're referring to are property taxes and homeowners insurance.
correct. Homeowners insurance. Yes, those are the things that I think people get confused on, because like, I pay taxes here, it would be on one area for the escrows, and then there's going to be another area for the adjustments.
Okay.
And they get a little confused with that, and it's understandable. It's like, why are you collecting it twice? I mainly get that a lot with the homeowners insurance. Like, I'm paying the first year up front, you're collecting it from me. Why are you collecting a couple extra months? It's the initial escrow deposit that will go in your escrow account. Now, lenders do escrow analysis every October. So if your escrow account, if they're overholding, they will refund it back to you. And if it's under, you can make it up over 12 monthly payments. You can make a one-time payment, and they can increase your payments for that.
Okay.
So you do have
gotten that letter before.
yeah. And not likely going to go down, but you never know. And you can change your homeowner's insurance over the years if you'd like, but you always have to, whoever your lender is at that time. And what I mean by that is, it's more than likely going to be sold, unless you're one of the lucky ones where the lender doesn't sell. And you always have to notify your mortgage company. Your insurance agent should know what to send to your mortgage company. If they ask for proof that insurance has been paid or that you have insurance, by all means, send it to them, because if not, they will enforce coverage. And trust me, you don't want to pay those premiums. I've only seen it once in the 37 years, but it was astronomical. So it's on a payoff. So it's just, good advice. If the lender, don't be like me. And if you get junk mail and you don't even open it, open your mail.
Okay, I think the other two things I can think of that confuse people sometimes are transfer tax and title insurance. If you could go over those, that'd be great.
Sure. Transfer tax in Maryland, you're always going to have a state transfer tax. Maryland taxes, transfer and recordation taxes are normally split 50-50. However, in this market right now, a seller's market, we are seeing a trend where buyers are offering to pay it in order to get their contracts accepted. There is a caveat to that is Maryland first-time home buyer. And there's a lot of confusion on this as well. It has to be that they have never owned property in the state of Maryland. There are lender products out there that after 3 years, if you haven't owned in 3 years, you're considered a first-time home buyer. That is not true with the state. So it has to be a first-time home buyer ever. If you've ever owned property in Maryland, you do not get that exemption. It is due, and that's 0.25% to the seller, 0.25% to the buyer. The buyer is exempt. If you are writing a contract, and this is where the buyer is paying all the transfer and recordation in order to get the contract accepted. I don't care what the contract says. The state, the law from the state, the buyer cannot pay that state transfer tax, that 0.25%.
So you have that. Okay.
Yeah, you have to, keep that in there in mind when you're doing that. In some cases, what we've done was we've, flipped over some seller fees. Some seller fees to the buyer side and had the buyer pay them. But, just be aware of that up front. Each county in the state of Maryland is different. You do have a recordation tax and a state transfer tax in every county. Not every county has a county transfer tax. Most do. So I can't give you the amounts on that. If you need to know, for a specific county, you can call me. But yes, it's very confusing. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Title insurance is, I think, the last one that people get really tripped up on.
Yeah. Title insurance, you are required to buy lender's title insurance. And all the years I've been doing this, I have never seen a lender waive it. If it's a traditional lender, they are going to require that you buy the title insurance. I've had buyers try to say, I don't want to buy that. Well, it's the golden rule. Whoever has the gold gets to make the rules. The lenders want you to purchase lender's title insurance. Owner's title insurance is optional. I highly recommend it. We do see probably 30 to 35% of files with title issues. I'm not saying title claims, but I'm saying title issues. To me, it's if you buy the warranty, you probably won't need it. But if you don't buy it, inevitably you are going to need it. It is a one-time fee and it covers you as long as you own the property. It is optional. It is up to the buyers. I would say probably 98 to 99% of people do purchase it. If they need more specifics of what it covers, I mean, there's a lot of things it covers. I'd be, again, more than happy to discuss it with buyers. I'd highly recommend it. I actually had a claim on my last property, so it does work. I've been through the process. They either pay the value of your loss or the attorney's fees to represent you in court. In my case, it was to represent me in court. I won $35,000 and didn't have to pay a dime in attorney's fees. So it was nice. But again, the lenders you have to purchase if you have a traditional lender. If you're buying all cash, obviously there is no lender. And the owners is optional. But again, I would never recommend anybody, friend, family, not buy the owner's title insurance. I mean, I just think it's worth it. It's probably your largest investment in your life. So I would recommend it, but
All righty.
pretty much about it on, that. If anybody has any further questions, you can give me a call. My number's 301-641-4186. I am personally licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. We are licensed in all 50 states. But those are my areas of expertise. My email, if you have any questions, is D as in Debbie, Schroeder, SCHROEDER at S as in Sam, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, G as in George.us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Debbie. All righty, folks, we went over escrow and hopefully debunk some of that confusion. We went over transfer tax. We went over title insurance. I'm sure we'll come up with more things to talk about at some point. If you have any real estate transactions you need help with, whether you're buying or selling or even a refinance, reach out to Debbie because she can take care of all that for you. And with her 37 years of experience, we'll make sure that all your bases are covered. So thank you again, Debbie, for joining me on the inaugural launch of this YouTube channel. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.